we'll do the live thing first. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is me, your host, Bigmark. I'm here with my great buddy Scott Mallon. But before, if you've never listened to the podcast, make sure you like it and hit the bell so you know when the next video comes out and all that good stuff. And if you want to support us, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. Anyway, like I said, here's my brother, Scott Mallon. How are you, brother? Welcome.
I'm good. Big Mark, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Good to see you. It's nice to finally have someone here, like, in person. It's been months and months. We got Christian and Jack behind the mic. Pew, 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 pew. But
ooh, sound effects. Yeah, I love those.
That was added in post. Yeah, it sounded like we just did that, but that was added in post effect. No, but anyway, like I was saying, it's nice to finally have someone in the studio, and we got some new lights set up, and it's bright and shiny, and hopefully we look good. Cannot
see the boys behind us, so
no, I know they can.
The lights are crisp.
It helps though. It kind of like puts us in it's like angelic. Kind of feels like we're back at school. Angelic. Speaking of which, look at the podcast logo. Just shiesty. Oh yeah,
looks just like you.
Yeah. My buddy, friggin' Scott Barker, another fellow Scot.
Hate him.
Scott, short for Scotland. Short for Scotland, right?
Yeah, hate that. Never met him, but honestly, I don't like a single one of them I meet.
Any other Scott goes down. I feel the same way about Marks with C. I'm sorry.
Well, they're just
bad
people,
but
yeah.
Well, yeah, Mark. One of the worst Marks
has a harder arc.
Mark. One of the worst Marks of all time, Mark David Chapman, I'm pretty sure was a C. He was the guy who killed John Lennon.
Oh shit!
I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but don't fact check me on that. But hey,
starting it off on a nice light topic today.
And here we are. Yeah. Well, he also, and that same guy who killed John Lennon was found with a copy of Catcher in the Rye on him. Did you know that? He was like reading Catcher in the Rye, and he was all about like. Have you ever read Catcher in the Rye? We didn't have to read that.
No,
I'm
not. I'm not cultured.
I'm not familiar with that.
No,
we didn't have to read that in English at St. Mary's, so I'm not surprised.
I was once at a dinner with two English PhDs.
Oh, no.
That they were paying for, and they were talking about classical fiction with the other people at the table, and I said, "Has anyone read A Time to Kill by John Grisham?" That is a classic, and no one responded. Ooh. I got hit with some hard no's.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's like. You know what? I mean, that's always tough when everyone always kind of feels, hey, you got to be like high class, and there's like certain literature that's like off limits, and it's like, hey man, if you don't want to read John Grisham, you're the one that's missing out.
Yeah, there's I think about this with bands a lot too, is the who are going to be the classics in like 20 to 30 years,
right?
Like right now, like you think like you have the Beatles, you have the Rolling Stones, like
sure.
In 20, 30 years from now,
right?
Who are the people that we are going to be going to their concert, and our kids are like, oh, these guys are older than death,
right?
Why are we checking them out? And then like you think about same thing with books. It's like everyone goes, oh, we only read like Tolstoy and Hemingway and all this crap that no one cares about.
Sure.
Like, what is Stephen King going to be, like, up there with those guys in 20, 30 years?
It's interesting, yeah, like, even, like, you're, like, only few people made it out of, like, the classical era, too. Like, there had to be more, like, there had to be so many composers, like, people that called themselves composers, but we really only know Mozart and Beethoven and Chopin. Like, we know a good amount of them, but, like, there's no way we know all of the people that were contemporary at that time. And it's really interesting. I actually just watched this documentary called What Drives Us. It's Dave Grohl's new documentary. And I think it was... I think it was Edge, potentially from U2. But anyway, someone was saying it's weird. Like, it seems like in like 1989 or like 1993, someone made a decision like all the rock bands that exist right now, they're going to exist forever, and no one else is allowed to join
all these
that.
Rock bands in the next 15 years?
AC/DC.
No.
It's AC/DC. It's the Stones. It's Foo Fighters. I mean, they're relatively new, but they started in like 95.
And I'd say even Foo Fighters are like in that area of like had the Nirvana living member effect.
Huge.
Because without that, I think that they're in the group with like the 90s rock bands that came out that were like very out for a bit and then done.
Well, that was like that post grunge era with like Creed and like Nickelback,
queer.
right? Yeah,
They gave us that.
yeah.
That,
That was that post
English
that
word
post grunge, right?
Everyone
Which
knew
is
that.
and yeah, even like well, and that kind of came from like people trying to rip off Eddie Vedder, like because he had that aspect to his voice, and Pearl Jam was like the biggest.
Pearl Jam was the biggest
Pearl Jam grunge band.
Took on Ticketmaster and
after
won.
Kurt died, I guess, because Nirvana really was number one at least. Well,
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but
And then you had
both were up there.
Pearl Jam and like Soundgarden kind of
Right.
merges the two to fill the void.
yeah, that whole Seattle
then
scene really.
Everybody else
Yeah.
died off.
Right.
Until,
Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. Everyone just died.
or like you had like you either had a dead person or like a one album and then no one cares what they do after that.
Right.
Like Gin Blossoms. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I know Hate Jealousy.
Right.
And you go, yeah, what's the other song? And they go,
yeah,
of course. Of course.
right.
And then I don't think it really picks up again until like you start getting into like that second wave of like British rock coming over and like Oasis and stuff like that.
Bush and
Yeah.
like who else? What was like the Verve?
Yeah.
Even though they made no money because they ripped
Zero,
off
'cause
they
they-
ripped off an Oasis song.
The one
their biggest song ever,
no,
Bittersweet
Rolling
Symphony.
Stones, wasn't it?
Oh, it was the Stones? I
Yeah.
thought it was Oasis. Oh,
Yeah,
it was
they
a Stones
ripped,
song?
they ripped off the melody and then every single dollar they made in royalties they didn't get to keep.
That's crazy.
And that's
their,
the
like,
beauty
one
of the
song.
music industry, folks. Like there's certain aspects of the music industry, because music is hard to quantify. There's certain aspects of the music industry, like if you put enough notes together, aka like use a sample or like rip off enough notes in a row that another band can be like, I wrote that at first, you're done. Like as soon as another band can prove I wrote that first, you're done.
Led Zeppelin just had to give
Yeah.
money for Stairway to Heaven.
Right.
Literally the song that like everyone thinks of when they think Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven.
Right.
And they got told this is too close to this other song that came out 3 years earlier.
Right.
Even though they're like, we had never heard of this band.
Yeah.
They're a no one.
Yeah.
But because that band had recorded it, it's like out there in the canon and you are toast.
Because they can
Do you know what
prove
that song's called?
The song, I'm not sure. I'm sure if you look up like what like Led Zeppelin sued for Stairway,
It
would
took.
show.
It was in court for like 10 years at
Yeah.
least.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it
I
was
remember-
a long time.
I
They
remember
didn't
being
bring
a
the
kid.
suit
Right.
until
Yeah.
like early 2000s,
'Cause
and
it's
then
a
it
hell
just
of a
got
suit.
settled like 5 years ago or something like that.
Like it's a hell of a monster to try and go at Led Zeppelin. Like
One of the
obviously.
greatest rock bands of all time.
And so much money in the estate that they could easily just crush you with lawyers. So
absolutely
like,
destroyed.
they had to make sure that whatever happened. And like, again, I've even heard that they're considering like having to extend the number of notes you can play in a row before it becomes copyright infringement, because there's just finite amount of music,
Well, yeah.
right?
Like look what happened with like 4-chord songs. They're like literally half the songs on Top 40 Radio
All
are
of
the
Ed
exact
Sheeran,
same.
Ed Sheeran would not exist.
Yeah.
Dallas Green probably wouldn't exist.
Most pop music like does it, and it's the reason is because the human ear likes a certain progression of chords.
Right. That's it. Because it's all like music is essentially like mathematics, and we just like symmetry and stuff, and
Yeah.
the way those 4 chords that most of those songs use, it's like a very symmetrical, like it has like a start to finish that's nice, and there's a resolve.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to the human ear, and it's been around forever.
Yeah. The other classic example of that is Love on Top by Beyonce.
Okay.
So there's a YouTube video that explains how it works, but essentially she used math
Okay.
and how the
She
human
did 100%, or like
the Beehive,
Richard
the
Feynman.
team,
Right,
the
yeah.
team, the team, Beyonce and the team
Cool.
went in and the way she changes keys on the last like 2 minutes of track, just going around doing the same loop over and over and over again. She's bouncing off all this stuff in mathematical order that your ear is going, oh, she just went up another one, but actually she didn't. She's just moving around in a way that you're going, she's the most incredible person on earth.
Right. See, and that's the funniest thing, is that there's like these tricks and stuff, and there's like tricks to almost all things. Like I mean, certain parts of visual art, you know, it obviously takes the performer, or sorry, the painter themselves, like their skill and everything, and they have to go some, like, that's like a very one-on-one transferable skill. Like, you're just doing, you know, you're putting paint to canvas, doing your thing. But Vermeer, right? You know, Johannes Vermeer, very famous one of the Dutch masters. I just watched this unbelievable documentary. Actually, shout out Cheeto Santino, fellow ginger. He was talking about, that's it, of course. No, but he was talking about this wicked documentary called Tim's Vermeer, and this dude who was like kind of borderline genius. He like grew up doing like video editing and all kinds of stuff. Noticed that, and there was this book written also called Vermeer's Camera or something like that. But anyway, he realized that Vermeer was potentially, it's not proven obviously, that Vermeer was using some type of like photo aperture, like lens, to paint his pictures. Or to paint his paintings, like, because you can look
the
at some of
original
his
photorealism painting,
literally, but it
he
was
was
almost
cheating.
right. It was almost like he was it was a photograph, really,
Yeah.
and the painter was like, what's going on in this camera right now? That right now, light's going through that lens, it's refracting through the lens, and it's going on. This is mirrorless camera, so it's going on to a sensor, and then the sensor's picking up all that information. Usually, there's like a mirror in there, and then that reflects it back onto film. And film is, you know, there's chemicals on the film that will change depending on the light exposure. So basically, you know what Camera Obscura is? Have you ever heard of that? It's like back from like high school science, like grade 9, Mr.
I love your faith in me.
Who is it? Who was his son was like, I think in your grade. What was the grade, like one
Mr.
of the science
Hanta?
teachers? Hanta. I was gonna say I wanted to say Fanta
Mr.
so
Fanta.
bad.
Yeah.
Hanta, brilliant guy. Anyway, it's like back in those days. So Camera Obscura essentially is like any dark, like a box, could be the size of a room, could be the size of a shoebox, that has like a pinhole in it.
Pinhole projector.
Pinhole camera.
That's how
Yeah.
I watched the eclipse.
Yes, exactly. So that's called a Camera Obscura. And basically, this was like found out in like ancient Greece kind of thing, back in the day, that if you have an image outside this dark area, the image is transferred through that pinhole onto the other side of the box, upside down and backwards.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see this image. So basically, some art historians and this guy basically looked at it and said, this is probably how Vermeer actually painted these rooms. Because some of the paintings you can look at, like, they have elements that you could only see through a lens.
Yeah.
So one of the things, like, one thing's in the
they're
foreground.
backwards.
So
They're mirrored, which you don't see with your eye.
but actually, so it wasn't just because the problem is, when you just project it on the wall and you try and paint it, you can like outline it and get the outline, but the problem is you can't get the color. Because, like, you know, when you like go up to a projector and like, if you were like, let's say you had like the color blue up there, the only thing that's going to match that color perfectly, like when you're looking at it with your eyes, is going to be a white color, right? Because then it's projecting onto it.
Yeah.
If you use a color blue that's even really close, that even matches that color perfectly, as soon as you put it on there, like imagine it's wet paint, it's going to look too dark. So like this Tim guy and the art historians were like, how did he actually get the color perfect? Because he was looking at Tim guy was looking at these pictures like, looks like a picture to me, because he's this optics guy.
Yeah.
And one of Vermeer's first paintings, called The Woman with the Red Hat, there's like a chair in the foreground.
Also an episode of Friends.
No way.
Yeah.
The one with the woman with the red hat?
The one with the red hat.
No way. It's the same. It's basically the same thing. Same level of art.
Yeah.
But
2003 NBC sitcom, Dutch Master.
Right?
Same thing.
You can they're both in the Rijksmuseum.
Tomato.
Anyway, there's like a chair in the foreground of this picture, and one of the tops of the chair, it's like a carved lion head. One of the lion heads is like fuzzy, like as if it's out of focus. And what paint, like your eyes automatically focus to whatever you're looking at. Why would all the rest of the painting be in focus, right? And then there's another painting where there was like an outline on the subject that would only happen with like a bad lens, the guy was saying. And then another thing was like the human eye can't see absolute contrast. Yeah, so this is the woman. So see that little brown like blob right in the very front? See how look in the back one's crisp and then that front one's like fuzzy. Yeah. Like it looks like it's out of focus. Yeah. So basically what they think Vermeer did is he used this camera obscura thing. So he had a lens that was capturing the light and it was focusing onto the thing backwards. But then he would actually focus the light, instead of on the wall, he would focus it on a concave mirror, like a shaving mirror. And that would correct the flip. So it would
flip the flip.
Flip the flip, just like in our eye. And then what he would do is he had a small mirror and he would look at that. So imagine the round mirror. And then he'd look at it and he could compare the light and the color on this small mirror to the canvas that was underneath.
Okay.
So he would go back and forth and he would mix the paint until it was the perfect color, and then he would move on to the next thing. So it was like you were a machine. So it was subjective. Anyone could have done that, but Vermeer was the one because his dad was an art dealer. And they have actually, so this is his first one. They think this is a test run because if you x-ray this painting, there's another painting underneath. Oh, really? So we just did it over top of another painting to see if it would work, and it's in museums.
I feel like that makes a lot more sense, and that's why this guy's a master. And this is also why I am not an art historian, because I would have looked at it and be like, the guy like was just bad in the front and good at the back,
and like
nailed it in up front.
The rest of it's beautiful, and the color and the light, like because I always said Vermeer painted with light. That was what they used to say. Look up a couple other, like just look at Vermeer's paintings, because again, like you would look at this and be like, how did, like for centuries really, up until a couple years ago, his documentary came out in 2013. No one had any idea how these guys did this. It was a guarded secret. No one, they didn't give out like, hey, I just do this with a weird lens.
That dog one with the hat on?
The dog hat?
Is that a Vermeer one?
That might be a fucking Vermeer. But yeah, see, like, look at the way that's painted. Like, that's like the light and everything is unreal. And like every single one of his paintings is like the exact same size. Like they're all the same size, which means like that's how big the image would have been projected from his device.
I am always amazed by like art, and when it's huge, and like Renaissance art specifically, like that level of realism probably took the guy like 3 months working 12-hour days, painting the same picture of 5 women washing their feet.
Yeah, seriously. Well,
and like, he's going, I don't know if there's a market for this.
I hope someone buys this.
I was in New York City.
That looks like an image. That looks like a picture. Bro. Right? Yeah. But that is a painting.
Like I was in New York City a few years ago, and I went to the Met, and I was in there for like 6 hours walking around.
I love the Met.
Super great, very overwhelming. Sure. I stood by an art tour because I was not paying for one, because I did the pay what you can ticket because I was broke.
Hey, when in Rome.
Still am. Classic.
Give us $1 million.
So they're like, hey, it's $45 to enter, or you can stand in that line, and it's pay what you can. And I'm like, pay what you can, like anything you want.
I got like, some buttons.
Suggested fee.
I got a bag of uncooked popcorn.
Slapped down $10 because who brings cash anywhere? I was in New York City staying at my buddy's place, so I had $50 cash for the week. Slap down to 10. I go, good. Said, have a good day.
Hey.
Go inside, walk around for 6 hours, stand near an art tour for 5 minutes. Go, that was too much.
Really?
They stood at one painting for so long talking about it. Some lady just started crying, and I was like,
wow.
I don't understand anything to that level.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it.
Sure.
I can go like, I cannot do that.
Right.
I cannot do that with a camera.
Right.
You can appreciate the majesty, but I've never understood. I've also been like kind of jealous of the people who can stand and look at a single painting for half an hour.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's
how he adds depth.
They say, right, yeah, the depth is there, like the light.
Finding like the cloak. Like
right.
Showing
I just don't know how someone can picture in their head how light would hit a 2D image.
Right.
Like,
See,
this
and
whole
this
thing is that's 2D.
And this is potentially with technology. He's potentially he's potentially using a technology here, like with this lens and mirror thing.
Technology is literally a mirror, and everyone's like,
that's
ooh,
really only one
groundbreaking.
man. Well, that's the other thing. It's like in what way, like, and they even said, like, back in the day, when Vermeer was painting, the like Italians were the ones that were kind of like setting the standard for what was popular with art. You know, the Vatican was still doing all these like commissions for religious stuff, right? Like, this is beautiful. Look at the detail in the back painting.
That back painting is nicer than some of the other paintings people are doing. And people were probably so pissed at him at the time. They're like, oh, another Vermeer drop today. And they're like, well, let's go look at it.
Huge flex.
Two other painters walk in and they go, the guy put my painting in the back.
Like, see how,
That's probably not even his. That's somebody else's. And that guy walked to the gallery that day and went, oh, you fucker, you did it again.
it looks better than mine. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
all the boys turn. Ooh, got you, Gaston.
Like, you know that one meme where it's just like everyone's like losing and the one kid's just like sitting in the middle with the hoodie?
Yeah.
He's just like, what up?
Yeah,
That's Vermeer
super hot
every
fire,
time.
boy.
Yeah.
Glasses, jacket, shirt. Call me glasses,
But see
jacket,
how
shirt,
the
man.
light like falls off from the window where it's dark?
Yeah.
It becomes light. Your human eye can't actually perceive that. Like, if you were looking at that wall, you wouldn't see, like, if
In real time, you could not see that. You could only see that in a photo, in a still photograph.
if you were studying the area close enough to paint it, you wouldn't notice it.
No.
Your human eye just doesn't, like, when you focus on something, your human eye it's you're not able to tell contrast. So, like, let's say we had two squares, one was like light gray and the other one was like a little bit lighter. When they're both beside each other, you can tell the difference.
Light gray
no
and
problem.
lighter light gray.
Light gray and then like smoky gray. Anyway, and then as soon as they're apart from each other, they look the same color. Our brain is just not good at, once things are like far away, we can't tell that this side is much lighter, let alone like by infinite degree that Vermeer's doing. And again, but barring the technology, aka a friggin' mirror and a lens, like, yeah, I can't, like, you know, Jack is a visual artist. He's painting, but like, I'm right there with you as far as like, I've never really done any visual art. Like, any art that I've done is music and like a little bit of like, maybe I've built something, but it wasn't like a sculpture or statue. Yeah.
I just had, it's my friend's birthday. We just, shout out to my friend Sam, just turned 27 today.
Shout out.
She, we just got her some vases from my friend from school who is a free sculptor.
Oh.
So she does pottery free sculpting, not like spinning Patrick Swayze style. Like, she's building vases by doing a little bit at a time and then firing them. At Ad Hoc Collective on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Really cool stuff. And she dropped them off yesterday. And I'm just like, you made this with your hands without any like mold. Like, you're just throwing clay.
Right.
And she's
Right.
like, yeah. And I like just like whipped these up quick. And I was like, man. She like did her fine art. She did undergrad in fine art at Mac in sculpting.
Right.
So like, that's literally her side hustle. Like, teacher and then does that on the side for fun. It's just
That's
like,
amazing.
blows my mind.
University level visual arts seems insane.
Do you know Kareem Ferreira from Mac
Yeah,
played
yeah.
football?
Yeah.
LeBron James has his painting in his living room.
What?
Last week, LeBron posts a photo.
Every day I hear something new about Kareem. Shout out Kareem, and he just keeps blowing me away.
I was shook. So I was just chilling.
Sure.
And I had seen a few people that I know from basketball posting, being like, shout out Kareem, like, this is amazing.
Right.
So I look at it. LeBron James posts on his Insta with his whole family. He has like a 14-foot painting in his dining room, and it's one of Kareem's.
Holy shit.
And
That's
it's like
amazing.
it's of like a black family in a kitchen making a meal together.
Wow.
And LeBron's like, yeah,
Man,
need
that's
that
insane.
art. So then Kareem, like, I just know him from like, I went to Mac. I have like mutual friends, and like, he was a bouncer at 1280. We'd see him all the time. Like, you know, just you meet people from being around campus.
Sure.
And I was just like absolutely blown away. Like that's
it?
That's Cream. Yeah.
Holy shit! It's like Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, that's Cream's painting. And I saw it.
Sorry, I thought the whole thing. My bad. I'm tripping. My tripping.
This thing in
No,
the
but it
back
still
there.
has that Norman Rockwell feel. But it's still, wow, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
no, the glass mirrors in front are not a
Yeah, I was like, bro, like
the light
fucking bubbles.
The light.
Like that's his thing.
No,
He
it's
just
the,
puts in, like psychedelic mirror fucking balls.
Yeah, that was
That'd be badass.
That was Cream. Like guy crazy from started off like just did his fine art at Mac, played football there, and then saw a few guys posting about it. Saw this, I was like, man, guys blowing up, and then like got a bunch of
It's just art. It's just art of LeBron James.
bunch of interviews about it, and it's just like, yeah, like that's crazy. And guys like super nice guy. He's been
Yeah.
he's
I
been
think that
hustling
is the
like the
picture,
art crawl scene for years and years.
Very cool. Oh my gosh, I'm
And
surprised
then
I haven't run
and
into.
then boom, one day LeBron throws your painting up on his
In
dining
front of
room
his-
wall,
yeah, right?
and then posted on his Insta with like 20 million followers.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Casual, right?
Wow. Look up Wayne White, Christian. There, Wayne White art. That's hard to say. So
Totally different vibe.
Well, it's funny because it reminded me of with the balls. I thought this is what happens. So he takes existing paintings and then like paints these words on top of them. So like this was an existing like landscape painting.
Yeah.
And he put that
So
obviously.
does he
Mr.
like
Wonderful
buy a painting from like a thrift shop?
store? Yeah. And like
That's
some of them
really
are
cool.
some of them are funny. But anyway, this guy used to work on the Pee Wee Herman set. He used to build the Pee Wee Herman set, like designed it, which is trouble. But
Pee Wee's had a bad run.
back in the day, yeah, he just made the set. People,
Yeah.
look at that
yeah.
one, Sugar Tit.
Yep.
Some of them are cool.
I just I just bought my first like big boy art.
Ooh, nice.
That I spent more than $20 on a print.
Nice, not just a poster at the poster sale.
Yeah, exactly.
there.
Like, you know, I'd bought it like a few small things, like
Right.
like $50, like tops on art.
Sure.
I was like, it's going on my walls. I don't need to spend money on it.
Right.
But I treated myself to an Erin Rothstein print. So
Okay.
she is an artist out of Toronto
Check her out.
who is she's a photorealist painter. So like her stuff is all painted by hand and looks like a photo.
Right.
It is like mind blowing watching her paint. She does like a ton of behind the scenes stuff on like how she does it too.
Very cool.
And it's just like tiniest little details she goes in like hours.
I guess like
And the
so.
stuff's so nice. And I got it and I was like, am I gonna be like happy spending like $400 on some art? And then it came and I was like, ooh, I should send her a tip.
That's amazing. I mean, having Jack here, I'm sure you've kind of experienced the other end of that too, right? Where, you know, it's amazing.
I mean, sometimes it can be quick, and sometimes it can be like 12 hours on a painting. It just-
Right.
It varies depending on who
Right.
you're doing it for and what you're looking for.
Right. So yeah, sorry you don't have your microphone, but
Yeah.
usually takes.
Everyone
what do you
loves
say?
that dead air.
Everyone-
That's so
sorry,
good.
everybody. No, you could if you can barely hear that, but
Cranky music. And then
I'll turn it up in post.
We'll get that in post. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, Jack was saying like sometimes it can take up to 12 hours or quicker, depends on the painting. But I guess you're just like kind of like layering and adding on to, right, which is super cool. Like that's kind of you know, again, the way that most of these Dutch masters were like trained was like to do that. You kind of start with a sketch and then you build on it, and like there's all these rules. And and that's like classically trained artists, right? And it's funny how, you know, with most art, like you have classically trained, like university level, like you actually went, like whether it's music, whether it's whatever, you actually went to school for it. And then there's so many people that have just taught
The
themselves,
homegrown. Yeah.
right? Which is super interesting. I mean, apart from
find
art, we don't really trust anyone
Yeah.
else.
I feel like you do homegrown like comes in the music,
Right.
Because it's accepted. You can make a garage band. You can teach yourself how to play an instrument. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Like I don't think a lot of the other art forms like necessarily respect the. Yeah, I'm like self-taught. Like if you're like an actor or an artist, and everyone's like, "Oh, you don't have a formal education." Like, "Ooh, you don't know the history." Well, why do I need to know the history?
Right.
Like, this is like art is subjective.
Totally.
So why do you need to know what other people have done to make your what you're making valuable, right?
Yeah, like you probably don't want like a homegrown like orthopedist, or but like that's the thing.
Yeah, I
is
taught
that-
myself. I'm a brain surgeon. Let's crack her open.
Right, here we go.
Whoa!
So where's your like credentials, doctor? It's like, oh, I'm not a doctor.
School of Hard Knocks?
I taught myself. But yeah, I think that's kind of the interesting thing with art is that at a certain levels of art, like there are just some people out there that kind of decide whether it's good or not, right? Like there's someone somewhere in a museum or on some type of panel that is like, this is good and this isn't.
I think it's happening a lot. Like that whole idea of like who decides is really coming to the forefront, especially in like movies and TV.
Right.
Like everyone's starting to go, why is a movie that everyone fell asleep in winning awards?
Sure.
Why cannot just like a movie that was entertaining and well acted and well written win an award?
Right.
Like I'm not saying that like Avengers is this like groundbreaking film.
Right.
It's not. It wasn't particularly well acted or well written.
Right.
But it's really entertaining. It should.
Sure.
Like, why can't it at least get a nomination? It's one of the most successful movies ever.
Right.
The example that I always use is like the Dark Knight was like kind of that first superhero movie or like an action movie to say, take me seriously.
Yeah.
Like incredibly well acted.
Totally.
Well written, well directed.
Yeah.
Few potholes. All superhero movies do.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Right.
And now since
course.
then,
It's
everyone's
comics,
like,
though, there's always loopholes.
and then everyone just goes, oh, well, it's Batman. I can't win anything.
Silliness.
And then they like I've watched The Phantom Thread. Daniel Day-Lewis was great in it. That movie sucks. I would never watch it again.
Right. Yeah.
Like I just watched Minari from this year.
Okay.
It was good. I will never watch it twice.
Yeah.
You know,
See,
like,
and that's the thing. And
why are we? But it's like, in that case, it's the Academy. But you even see it on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Rotten critic score 42, audience score 85.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because it's sick.
Right.
I want to see stuff blow up and people get shot.
Right. 100%.
Like I watched a Netflix made for Netflix movie with Kate Beckinsale.
Nice.
And a bunch of everyone's invincible and they just
Nice.
kill a bunch of people and sick.
Cool.
Critic score like 40, audience score 100.
Right. Well,
Killed
I think
it.
that comes from this weird like they're trying to maintain this academy.
The authority.
Right,
They need
yes.
to tell you what the good movies are.
Right. And I think I might have mentioned this before, but Eddie Vedder, this is for the Grammys, but Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam are receiving a Grammy, I'm pretty sure, for Album of the Year. And he was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know if this means anything. Like in his acceptance speech, like to everyone.
Yeah.
And he was just basically calling to attention this whole thing where we're giving an award for art. We're giving an award for something that's subjective to some people, is the most entertaining thing, most enjoyable thing, and yet these critics that saying no, this isn't good.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on top of that, you add in all the other complexities of these are all old white dudes voting for everything, and they like a certain type of music, and they like a certain type of movie.
Right.
Like there's a reason Macklemore and Ryan Lewis and The Heist beat Kendrick Lamar for rap album of the year. Not even album, just rap album of the year. And you're
Right.
like, Macklemore, really? Who? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take a
I'm still
swig of
holding on
that.
to that pretty tight.
Yeah, there was one a few.
That was like
this
2010.
This was even before that. Album of the year went to like Robert Plant and a bluegrass woman.
Right, like Alison Krauss or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, everyone went. I've literally never heard of this album. No one had ever heard a single song.
Sure.
And every other album, bangers start to finish.
Right.
Not a single bad track. And then people are like, who?
But it's got to be Robert
Who
Plant.
just won album of the year?
Yeah. See, and again,
And then
that's the
people
thing.
are even saying, who the hell's Robert Plant?
Well,
You go,
especially nowadays.
well, after I Googled, it's a guy from Led Zeppelin. And then people go, who?
Right.
You go, oh
Aren't
boy.
those the guys that got sued?
And then you watch School of Rock. You figure it all out. And then
That's
And
all you
then
need
you're
to
good.
do, people. Yeah. I mean, again, that's the thing, is that you have these academies and these weird schools of people that, I mean, again, I've experienced it as a musician, like people who are trained at any level, if they're trained like musicians, period, like at even if it's at some elite level, whatever, college, university, they've been trained as a musician, they always look down at musicians that kind of just taught themselves how to do their thing.
For sure.
And it's like, I
And
mean,
like-
you can look at sports. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Some coach at one point taught you how to like shoot a jump shot, but then you took it from there.
We were probably taught how to shoot a jump shot wrong.
And we kept getting taught how to shoot a jump shot.
Yeah, we're
I don't
another
know
4
why.
years. But it's
And
like,
then all of a sudden someone said, don't shoot your shot ever again.
ooh, that's bad. Just layups.
Just 3 feet from the rim.
It's
no
just,
more.
Like, it's one of those things. It's like you get told, like, your jump shot looks weird.
Right.
So instead of, like, I've known a lot of people whose jump shots are weird, but they go in.
Yeah. Sean
And then-
Marion.
If it's going in,
Lonzo Ball.
if it's
Yeah.
going in a lot, Taylor Dohanic.
Hey. Hey, national champion.
Guy bangs threes.
National champion.
He's like 6'9" and he shoots from behind his head like this.
He does.
And then 40% of them go in. Who cares?
Right, exactly.
You can't hit a layup.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, maybe because I guess sports is objective, right? Like the ball went in or it didn't go in the basket.
Yeah, but I'd say that's even like that part is that's the issue is if it's going in, why if a guy's an ugly shot and he
Right.
doesn't hit anything,
Right.
fix the shot.
Sure. But that's what I'm saying. I think
But if the guy's hitting them,
right. But I
Like-
think that's sports is that it's
Yeah.
objective, I guess, at a certain point where, you know what? It's ugly, but he gets the job done.
yeah, so like I coach at
Right.
St. Mary's. Shout out.
Shout out our alma mater. For anyone who's listening doesn't know, we played basketball together at St. Mary's in Hamilton. Shout out. And now Mallon is the head coach of the senior team.
It's been a journey.
Woo! It's all around.
We started
Full circle.
started off coaching, helping out our old coaches Tom and Sean when they were coaching junior in
Sweet.
G's last year.
No way.
Saw Tom while I was pushing buggies at a Costco parking lot my first year of university on a Sunday, hungover as all hell. And I was just like, Tom,
Shout out
what's up?
Costco.
He's like, oh, you know, just shout out Costco Ancaster. Was the 517, now the 1005. Or no, 1105. Sorry.
Hey, hey.
Ooh, my bad.
Wow.
A lot of great people there. But then, so he just goes, yeah, we're, Sean and I are coaching. Like, if you ever want to pop by, I'm like,
Cool.
well, I'm at Mac. I live right around the corner. Is it cool if I pop by and like get
Yeah.
in a run with you guys? Started going. Got a text like 3 months after that saying, any chance you want to coach the midget team in the fall? And I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I do not have the time, but yes. So I did that and then coached the junior team for a year after that by myself, like all solo, no teachers reps, because like why would a teacher give back to the school where they work at, et cetera.
They know you.
You're done at 2:38. Why would you stay for a minute longer?
You were there for all 4 years.
So then later on, my brother who played with us and our buddy from Westdale, Christian Zalewski, if you're familiar
yeah.
with them, played
Yeah.
at Laurier for a couple years. Good friend of ours. So he started
Played
coaching with us
men's
too.
league together.
Yeah. And we coached the junior team for 3 years, and then we just got the senior team the last year before COVID.
Right.
But high school basketball is like a weird place now because like Hamilton, high school basketball in general in Ontario was insanely competitive.
Yeah. The hoopla.
Like you would, I've been in many fights on the hoopla.ca back in the
Hoopla,
day.
I think me and Zach Angus might have mentioned this on a previous podcast, but the Hoopla was like a chat room.
Pre-chat
Twitter,
boards.
Pre-Twitter.
There's no Reddit, there's no Twitter, nothing. Like it was literally just a site with boxes, and you would like look for threads. It was
It'd be like
essentially
high
Reddit
school,
before
like
Reddit
19
existed.
under, 16 under.
Yeah,
Like,
and one was
yeah.
the biggest hoopla blow up was when the NIDA program folded,
oh, geez, true.
and two of the girls who lived in Hamilton stayed and played for Mac.
Oh, yes.
They'd been
right.
going to St. Mary's.
forgot about this.
They'd been going to St. Mary's for 3 years.
So NIDA, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I told you
National
this.
Elite Development Academy. It was like Canada trying to. They got sponsorship money for Nike, so they wanted to make like a junior team almost.
And it was like all the best. Well,
Only women first.
it
They did
started with
women
the girls
first.
program. It was like all the best girls from all over Canada that wanted to join
Would come live in
in
Hamilton.
Hamilton. And when it first started, they could go to
St. Mary's or Westdale. That was it.
or Vanier, right?
If they're French.
If they're French, because there were some people from Quebec, so we gave them the option of the French school. Anyway, that was the first couple of years.
Marc.
Right.
That's where
Yeah.
Marc
All the
went.
Marks went there for
Yeah.
sure. Anyway, and eventually it became everyone went to St. Mary's. So all these kids, like when we were there, all these kids, like the best high school players in Canada, were at our high school.
And most
Men's
of
and
them
women.
most of them started too in grade 9. So like when
Right.
they came to
Right.
our school, that was the only high school they'd ever been to.
Yeah.
So then NITA folded because they had no money and didn't do anything.
So brute.
Like it was a good idea,
Almost
but just
all
like
of these kids went NCAA, or most of them went to second or like post secondary. A lot of them went to NCAA. Bunch went
couple
all
pro.
over Canada.
2 of them pro.
Two of them pro. Yeah.
Um,
Kelly Olnick.
Kelly Olynyk plays for currently the Rockets.
Yep.
Was on the Miami Heat finals team last year.
Yeah.
And Natalie Chanwa just got traded, or just didn't get traded, signed with the Minnesota Lynx.
Yeah.
In the WNBA.
She went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, 4 years at Notre
Unreal.
Dame.
Unreal.
But
Anyway. Yeah, so
so like it folded, and they were told you have to go back to your hometown,
came from.
and they're like, I don't have any friends there. Like I don't know anyone. I want to stay here.
Yeah.
They had secured living arrangements because all their billets were like, we would love to keep you for another.
And they weren't
year.
from far away either, right?
No, that was just from Guelph, but it's just like a sense of all my friends here. My entire life is in Hamilton.
Sure.
Like, yes, I miss my parents, but they live 40 minutes away. And why would I go back to a school where I don't know anyone? So they ended up staying, and they played. And every game, people would be like, you guys cheated and brought in these like pros. You recruited them. It's like, no.
You just gotta unplug it and plug it back in.
We
That
didn't-
one's trippy.
We didn't recruit them. They just
Right.
wanted to stay at the school they're already at and not go away for their last year of high school. But now the issue is literally prep schools have
Right.
taken
Hot.
all the all the talent. If anyone is a decent basketball player, prep school on them.
Right.
So like the quality is a lot lower. It's still competitive because like now that we don't have the Zach Anguses, it's just me and you playing now.
Right.
So me and you are now starters. Hello.
Yeah.
The games are in the 40s,
Right.
but they're entertaining.
So yeah, so it's basically kids that just like aren't all that serious in the sport still playing.
They just don't. They're the ones that are like, I'm not going to the NBA. I'm not gonna even go play university.
Right.
Like I don't need to. Right. I'm here because I enjoy basketball and I'm a good player. Like our team was good.
Right.
Like we scrimmaged with them and like we worked hard and they beat us sometimes. And
Right.
we're no God's gift to basketball, but it's like we're a bunch of 30-year-old men getting beat by high school kids.
Right.
So it's just like this weird dynamic too of like even the guys, like you had talked about it with Zach last week, like the idea behind coaching has changed so much. Like we kind of were probably the last group of where you can tell every kid they suck and they're a pussy and they're soft and
Right.
that's
We're not gonna like call
Yeah.
home and like.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, like near the end of our career, there was a little bit of an incident with someone telling their parent what happened.
something happened.
Because you never don't tell your parents
Don't
what
tell
goes on at practice.
Never.
Don't.
Don't
Because
tell your
it's-
parents
it's
anything. You're in
out of
high
context.
school. Don't talk to your parents.
Like, they're gonna come to the game and hear it, so you can't hide it there. But if they're not, if they're not there, don't tell them because out of context, it always is gonna sound bad. And no matter what happened, really, out of context, like again, like truthfully, you know, our coach called us stuff that I'm not really, you know, comfortable repeating. But it
I
wasn't
would-
like,
yeah,
oh
like-
my god, like I'm devastated.
No.
It was like I understand what he's saying.
It was small Mark.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He said, "Hey, tiny boy."
Yeah. Damn it.
But it was just like I've even noticed it with Jamie. Like he's mellowed right out.
Right.
That fiery like 30-year-old that coached us is not the guy that coaches at Redeemer.
Right.
It's not even the
That's what
guy.
Zach was saying,
I don't
too.
even think he's the guy that finished coaching at Mary's.
Right.
It was actually really cool. We went to Chancellor 2 years ago now. It was February 2020.
Nice.
RIP that time. That was nice.
Hey.
And we went to the Chancellor and St. Mary's won for the first time since Girolamo played.
No way.
Our guy won MVP. Last St. Mary's name on the trophy was Girolamo. He
Holy
was
shit.
our teacher rep for the weekend. So it was
Cool.
really cool for
Oh, that's nice.
for especially Andrew and I, like our old coach who taught us a lot of what we know about basketball.
Right.
Was on the bench with us, and like we would be like, anything to add? He's like, I would not do anything different. And that's coming from a guy who not only like was our coach, but now has also gone on to coach and like learned that he trusts the decisions like we're making, and he's like, you guys have understood this game.
Right.
I'm not gonna add anything to this, and it's like a cool moment.
That's awesome.
And then it was really cool for the kids on our team to be like, first of all, we won this tournament for the first time in 30 years.
Unreal.
And then two, like for the guy who won MVP, he's like, the last name is literally the coach here, who's a teacher at our school, and he's like, they took a picture together with the trophy. I think it's cool. And then we blew an 8-point lead with a minute left in the last game to qualify for OFSA.
Yay.
So, you know, regular St. Mary's stuff.
Ups and downs. Ups and
Regular
downs.
St. Mary's stuff. And then we all said, see you guys next year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them yet
Psych. Oh no.
because there's been no season.
Right.
But yeah, like high school basketball is just like totally different. Coaching's like a lot of fun, huge time commitment. Like we're kind of getting to the point where it's like, man, St. Mary's is not near downtown Hamilton,
Right.
where we live.
Right.
That is very much far away.
Yeah, it's true.
And like really, we live in the East End. Like the three of us, I live with my
where I grew
brother.
up- that's where I grew up,
Yeah.
going to St. Mary's every day, bro.
Oh, I don't know how you did it, dude.
Sucked balls.
I live like 3 blocks from your old place, pretty much.
Nice, yeah.
Because
Unreal.
I'd
Where-
been to the
where?
old place.
What street?
I'm right beside, like you can see the stadium from my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like on Melrose or something?
Shout out Stipley.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Stipley neighborhood.
Nice.
It's
Stipley
really
or Stipley?
Stipley. We've
Okay.
been there 6 years.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Did you get a
downtown
flag?
life.
Did they give you a flag? The Tie Cats? You know, they
I have
giving
two
out-
of them. One's actually the curtain in my office.
Nice.
But it's like just been this wild ride of living downtown. Like I grew up in Dundas, which
Sure.
is like the whitest, most sheltered place within
Very sheltered.
300
It's
kilometers.
like cut off, like geographically.
Holy shit!
You know,
I didn't know how to ride a bus.
Literally,
I didn't know how to
right.
get on a city bus until
I
grade
took
10.
Nick-
I didn't go in grade 9.
I took Nicky
My
Johns
friends
to
were
Jackson Square for the first time in his life in grade 11.
Man, it was such a messed up experience when we were in grade 9. Everyone's like, get on the city bus. I was like, I'll just wait for a ride.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
Well,
Like, just
again-
get on the bus. I was like, I don't know.
Even me, like, because I was like from the East End, Hamilton, like going into Dundas, like everyone was like, "This kid's from Hamilton as fuck."
Ooh.
Like who know? Like I know in grade 9 at least, because I went to the school. I
Well,
didn't know
really,
anybody.
what they said, if you're from him, they're like, ooh, this guy's poor.
Yeah.
Because that's what Dundas would actually say.
That's exactly- this guy-
Unfortunately, they'll go, ooh, are we bringing poor Mark?
This guy doesn't have a pool.
This guy's above ground? Ooh.
Not even, man. It's like a bathtub that they pulled in his backyard.
You only have one hot tub?
Oh man! But when I came in grade 9, like I was like 6'6", and like people thought I was like in grade 12 plus.
Yeah, same.
Like I came from Of course, I know you. I know you felt this way too.
I look shorter sitting down.
But like specifically, Nick Johns, who I became good friends with, was like, I was scared of you in grade 9. Yes, I was scared of you in grade 9. Shout out Nikki J. I know you're not watching. Anyway, my good friend became my good friend, was like, I'm scared of you. I was scared of you. I didn't know who you were. And again, I didn't know anyone either, right? So it's like,
was all
Dundas and most
Man.
of St. Mary's was, especially by the
The
time
St.
I
Joe's
got there.
kids are the ones who taught me everything I know about how to move around Hamilton.
Yeah.
Everyone who went to St. Joe's, they were like,
Right.
yeah, you guys get a school bus, we get the city bus
Right.
to school.
Yeah. Well, it was all the St. Joe's kids, at least, like, were a lifesaver at Mary's because...
Yeah.
So, I think I probably mentioned this on the podcast before, but our high school, St. Mary's, the year before I was there, so 2 years before Scott got there,
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'll shut up.
It's
Fuck
all
me.
right. Our school used to get all the Ancaster kids, which were like really rich. Talk about being poor.
Talk about being
Ancaster
poor.
was really rich. They got to play on the rep teams, go to all the clubs, pay money to get better, like surgeries and all that shit.
Yo, I just
Look
remember
better.
when we played Bishop Tonus in football after. I played for 1 year. I sucked. I got fucked up.
Position did you play?
Yes.
Quarterback.
No, but
that's
they.
Andrew.
I remember every single every kid on their team had a visor on their helmet, And I'm like, I don't have a helmet that fits, let alone
St. Mary's still
I
had
was
like the
playing-
leather helmets.
I was playing football with a helmet that you could shake on my head, and my head
They
is
didn't
huge.
pump it up with the.
I did. It was at max. Man, I went.
I had to take all the air out of mine to get my head in it.
I was in grade 9.
It was like wearing a plastic.
I only played in grade 9. You're in grade 10.
Right.
You were hurt the whole year as usual.
Oh
Classic.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That was the year I think got surgery, right?
Yeah, everyone
Okay.
called Mark soft. Guy literally had shoulder surgery. Everyone goes faking an injury.
I'm like, I have like a fucking thing on. Like I'm like, anyway.
Oh, and our coach
Just
too.
disrespected at
Our
St. Mary's.
coach was like had this weird thing that he said where he's like, I have family members that have beat cancer, so like your injuries aren't real, and we're like, what?
It's like my labrum's torn.
Like
It's-
my arm is in a sling. I have
the
my
cartilage
collarbone is in
torn
pieces.
off the bone in my shoulder.
And
I'm
he's
sorry.
like, yeah, did you survive?
Are you living?
Did you
Are
survive
breathing?
mesothelioma like I did?
But again, and,
No?
and this is coming, contact. You or a loved one has been
Yeah.
affected. But this is also coming from the the wonderful program that is St. Mary's football. That when I was in grade 9, Paul Hart single-handedly beat Brebeuf and like ran all over them. That was
Yeah.
the only game they won for I think 8 years.
So,
and these are the
which was
people-
wild was before the split.
right.
St. Mary's
Yes.
had not lost a game
Right.
in 4 years.
Well, actually, that's why I came to St. Mary's from all the way in the East End because I didn't want to go to BR. So, funny enough, BR
Saint-
had a way better football team.
St. Mary's was essentially just
Not
like
that much
a
better basketball
feeder
team.
school for MAC football.
Sure, 100%.
Everybody went there.
100%.
We had coaches from MAC that
Right.
were assistant coaches at MAC, were assistant coaches at Mary's.
Yeah,
And then the school split, and both teams sucked.
sucked. It just took.
Sucked.
It took like a really almost a powerhouse squad, well, 100% powerhouse school, and just separated into 2 mediocre schools.
Yeah.
And it was just like great. Now we got like kids from Dundas that are
I
halfway in
played-
it. They're
I
hockey
played
players.
football.
Most of them are hockey players.
I
yeah.
weighed 140 pounds.
Dude, remember we had
in
that
grade
rugby
9.
team that we like tried to put together and was like the Dohanics?
And Adam.
It was like the Dohanics.
And
It was
Adam.
all of them, yeah. It was Warren, fucking Taylor, and like the young one, Brock. Anyway, this was a family, but they begged me to play and all this stuff, but it was just like we just didn't have enough kids. At the end
There
of the
wasn't
day,
enough
we were, like,
kids,
became
and
small,
like just like
that were interested at least.
man, high school football shouldn't be by age; it should be by size.
Right.
Break it up into weight divisions, because like man, I was 140
So true.
pounds,
Right.
and we played a game at Ivor Wynn, and we were getting blown out by Moore, and their subs come on, and their subs are your size, and I am our subs.
Moore was
They
unreal.
did an onside kick up 40. I jumped to try and catch it,
no.
and you
Don't leave your feet.
you went parallel with the ground and speared me. Whole team just went, oh, I could hear him because I was right beside him.
I was on the ground listening to him.
And I stand up and just immediately fall back down the other way. And the whole team goes, oh.
Oh, he's down again.
And then I come out, coach goes, Mallon, you going in? And I pick up my helmet, and Mike Italiano just grabs my shoulder pads, sits me back down. He goes, Coach, he's done for the game.
Good
And
old
then
Mike.
he's like, you should go see the trainer. Like, and I was like, why, Mike? He's like, well, you just tried to put your helmet on backwards, so.
When was this? This was when you were in grade 9?
Grade 9, yeah.
my God.
I didn't play football again after that.
right.
I started running cross country, which was the smart decision for me.
It's better for the head.
And also better for like me as a successful athlete in life.
That's true.
Laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff.
It's yeah. Again,
You know what I
it's
wish
sad.
I didn't do now though is ran cross country in high school, because now when I run and I do a race, I got pissed off because how slow I am because of how fast I used to be.
Oh no.
Because it turns out that running at 140 pounds and running at 180 pounds is a very different thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can imagine. It's like, hey, put a 40-pound weight vest
Put
on.
a 40
and
pound
go
weight
for a-
vest on and see how your heart does. I also now monitor my heart rate, which is crazy to
and
do.
beers
and when
pre-
you're on a run and you
Beers
go,
pre and post.
you go, this is my
Pre
easy
and
run.
post.
Is that
During-
supposed to be 185?
Hey, wait a second. Is that the time or?
You get called out by your buddies when you post your run after, and they go, Scott, why'd you caption that easy run? You're like, what do you mean? They're like, your heart rate was 185 for 35 minutes. And I was like, Yeah, easy. I wasn't even sweating. I was in an ambulance, but I wasn't sweating.
Wow, it's 2:30 already. Oh my god. Oh man.
Is that the time of your heart rate? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It.
Man, there was a kid on my football team in first year. He actually didn't even technically make it to the team. His heart rate was up over 225 on the football field. He was like, and they had to like rush him
In
to emergency
university?
surgery. Yeah, in first year.
Shit.
It was like he was one of the recruits. It was during training camp, and he just was like gonna die, and they had to like take him to the hospital.
Damn. Did you see that thing with he's like top 5? You're gonna be a top 5 NBA lottery pick this year. Played at Florida, just like dropped on a court in the middle of the game.
Really?
Yeah. No. Heart stopped. Was completely gone. Got to the hospital. Was on like life-saving machine for like 3 days, and then they extubated him, and like they think he's gonna make a full recovery. But like it was wild. He walked out of a timeout and literally just collapsed, and immediately
Okay, yeah. I think I
his
remember
whole
this now, yeah.
team was like, the players, just the way he fell to the ground, the whole
knew.
team just went, oh my god,
This is bad.
he's dead. And
Well, it's
technically he
happened.
was. Technically
Right.
he was dead.
For a sec.
It was like a Len By situation, just like right there on the court.
Yeah.
Except,
Well, that's the thing.
Except without the cocaine.
Well, that's the thing without the enlarged heart. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, some people can go down, right? Like, you know, unbeknownst to them, or like they're on some weird drug, or you know, and all of a sudden their heart just pops.
Man, there's crazy stuff that you just like you don't know about that can happen, like a blood clot that you don't know.
Right.
And a blood clot can come from something as simple as like you've been pushing it way too hard for way too long, and
Well,
it happens.
there's a few, I don't know what the percentage is, but a few people have a congenital heart defect where, so when you're in the womb, your heart has like a hole in
Yeah.
it so that the blood can travel through your heart. And when after you're born, the hole is still there and it slowly closes just as your heart gets stronger. Some people's holes don't close completely.
And then you're just leaking.
Well, it's leaking, but it's
You're
not
leaky
it's not
McGee.
really affecting so the problem is your heart has 4 chambers and they're not really supposed to mix. But because that hole, it kind of mixes a little bit. So it's not the best thing for you, but again, it's not the end of the world. But what actually that hole unfortunately allows to happen is if there's like a blood clot in somewhere in your body and it travels to your heart, it could jump over. So if it goes through that hole, the one chamber goes to your lungs, which is fine, and like it might create like a breathing issue,
Get a nice
but
little
the other
collapse
chamber
lung.
goes to your brain.
Yeah. Nice little
Well,
pee.
it would just be like a very small part of your
You'd rather have a
lung.
pee than an aneurysm.
right. Exactly. You
Right.
want like a pulmonary embolism.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd rather have a collapsed lung or a blood clot in your lung than a blood clot in your brain. Because
Sure.
blood clot in the
At the
brain,
end of the day,
you're dead.
At the end of the day,
You're done.
you're at least stroking,
You're done.
or you're gonna die. Right.
Yeah.
So again, the other chamber goes right to your brain. So you can get, if you have a blood clot, can go into this and go up to your brain again, cause stroke, cause death, aneurysms, all kinds of crazy stuff. But what do you got for us here? The fever journey. Yeah, we're tripping. But yeah, so again, like, you know, there's, to people that would seem relatively healthy, you know, athletes, you know, they can go down. And again, some athletes have enlarged hearts and stuff. Oh yeah.
I think part of it too is like a lot of athletes just put off like chest pain and like arm and leg pain and stuff as this is that's the one, that's the guy.
The collapse
played
on the
for
court.
Florida and it was at FSU. It was wild.
It wasn't during the tournament, was it?
No, it was like mid-season. And
We're just watching a video. Oh my gosh.
Keontae
yeah.
Johnson, that's
We're
his
watching
name,
this
yeah.
video called Collapse, or the headlines Collapse on the Court, and this guy goes down, like
Yeah.
face first, doesn't even put his hands out. Like, that's when you know.
Yeah.
When you see a person, look at him, peace.
yeah, his name's Keontae Johnson. He was like a consensus top 5 pick. He was preseason SEC Player of the Year as a freshman.
Oh my goodness.
Like, guy was set for life, and now they're like, I don't know if, like, similar to like a Chris Bosh thing of like, don't know if he can play basketball again
Right.
because of a medical condition.
Oh, that was my,
Like, talk
my
about
buddy.
a career
He can
cut
never
short.
Play football again after
Talk
that.
about a career cut short on.
Rigorous heart testing.
Wait, who's the guy?
My buddy, his name was Courtney.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, but like I think a lot of athletes and stuff just put off any pain in your chest, your heart, your arms into like, oh, I've been training hard.
I did some push-ups yesterday, or whatever.
Yeah, or even
100%.
just like I went for a run. Like, my chest and back should hurt.
Right. Well, even in basketball, again, like you're so like you have no padding whatsoever. Like it's a very intimate sport that way. Like you could get hit in the chest hard enough that it stops your heart. You can get crazy hits in the head. You can get kicked in the face, elbowed in the head.
You could get, let's say, we'll role play.
Okay.
We're gonna say it's a tournament. It's called Saucy.
Right.
Okay. You get hit in the head in the game, taking an elbow to the face.
Sure. So
Okay?
so
Small
have
concussion.
have I been drinking before?
So it's Friday night. No,
Okay.
you haven't drinking before.
Not
so
or
it's Friday
after.
night.
Not at all. Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So then it's Friday night is when the game happens.
Okay.
Okay. So you get
So I have
smoked
the-
in the
I
face.
have the
Your
concussion.
nose gushing blood. You are spinning.
I have full grade concussion.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay. And then someone says, "Want to go and pre-drink before a formal tonight?"
And I go, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then I get drunk and I puke on some bouncers.
Do you play in Saucy on Saturday morning?
Uh,
No, because you're not allowed
Depends
on
on your
school
coach, yeah.
property, and
You're
your games are at the school.
you're suspended and we're hosting the tournament.
Oh.
So
shout out my brother.
For Andrew Mallon, because we know you're listening. We're telling this story, sucker. When I was in grade 12.
My brother is 2 years older than me. Played with Mark.
Yep.
And
We
then
played
I
football
also
together, too.
played with Mark, so that's nice. Mark's between the two of us, so he
It's
played.
a Mallon sandwich.
He played with
Mark meat.
He played with Mark and Zach, and then I played with Mark and Zach.
Because Scott's brother Andrew graduated like after grade 12.
Andrew and Zach are the same.
Andrew and
they
Zach are
played
the
all
same
4
age.
years.
And
Homies.
Zach came back for 12 plus.
The very next day,
yeah, the cat came back.
the Zach came back.
Anyway, so
Saucy Southern Ontario Shootout Invitational, worst name ever.
right. This is a tournament we're hosting in Hamilton and St. Mary's, one of the host
DeVoe
schools,
Joseph
right? Oh yeah.
and his younger brother Corey are in town.
Oh, bro, was that the tournament where I went off against Shadrach?
Yeah, 2 years later, but yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I was
So
like
then-
guarding this guy like I thought it was Kobe, bro. I had my fucking hand in his face and shit. This guy was like the last cut of the junior national team. I thought it was.
He
I was
went.
like, fuck this
he
guy.
played at Wichita State.
Yeah. At
He was
Wichita State.
on the tournament team with Fred.
When Wichita State made that crazy NCAA run, this kid was on it, and he was like,
he didn't play,
he
but he
was
was on
like
it.
hot shit. Everyone was talking about the hoopla was going mad.
The hoopla. They
And this
reignited
guy
the site.
rolls in, and like I'm like, fuck this guy. Like he's coming into my fucking house. Like I'm gonna show him how it's done. And he played like for Assumption, in Burlington, and he fucking scored like 2 points. And I don't know how
Mark
many points I scored.
absolutely elbowed him in the face, like fucked him up. It
Just
was
boxed
obviously an offensive foul.
But, oh no.
And then he scored the layup and then
hot is that?
stepped over him.
Oh yeah.
Stepped over him on the ground on the way back. Like,
Hey, it's all right. It's called boxing out. Ask Brendan Doherty.
it happens.
Wow, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. My light's burning a hole in that thing. Is that thing melted? Okay. I don't know.
It's fine.
It doesn't like those Apple plugins. I just got some new lights and they're friggin' USB, and I use like the Apple one. And for whatever reason, one is hot. I don't know if it's the plug itself.
It's the one
like
that's on me.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's the
I think it's because it's the one that's on me.
yeah. It doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it looks
you're
because
just
I'm
too
so
bright.
hot.
Yeah.
But then, so Andrew takes the bow to the face, goes to
Right.
formal, gets wasted.
Right.
Gets found under a table by the bouncers. Gets picked up by the bouncers, says, "I'm not drunk," and tries to punch him in the face, but is so drunk he just lightly caresses his cheek. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting grabbed by a cop going, "Are you Scott?"
No.
And I was like, no, I've also been drinking.
I've been drinking. How drunk are you right now? 6 out of 10.
And then I'm literally like, I'm looking like Randy with his shirt off and his hair drawn on. That's how drunk I am. And
Like a weeble.
he goes out, he's like, "I need you to come with me." I was like, "Oh, could you tell I was drunk? Like, I don't look drunk." And then we go out, And my brother is literally sitting beside the one hot teacher at our school with a garbage bag, just puking like crazy.
Oh.
And they're like, "That your brother?" I was like, "Yes, it is."
So busted.
And I realize I'm now good. And they're like, "Can you give us the phone number for your parents?" I was like, "Yes, I can."
just relishing. You bastard.
Well, I'm safe. I'm like,
Scot-free.
and then he turns,
Scot-free.
and then after I give him the number, because I'm right up in his face, being like 905, and then he turns to me, he's like, "Have you been drinking tonight?" I was like, "No." You know the
No,
classic
have you?
like blow away, blow down.
Yeah. You're like,
No.
no, have you?
Have you been drinking? I think you smell like vodka. I think you smell like Silent
I
Sam.
think you're just smelling your own breath.
No, sir. I got Silent Sam. It says it doesn't smell on the lips.
Oh, that's
No,
amazing.
sir. I had turpentine tonight. It's fine. So then my dad comes, picks him up.
Oh, no.
And
Not
I
Mr.
come.
Mallon.
I'm coming out of the washroom as my dad's there, and he's like waving at me, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I gotta go," because I don't want to go over.
Someone's calling me.
And my dad's laughing. He's like, so dead. Like the guy's dead, laughing, like maniacal laughter. I'm like, this is great.
Uh-oh.
So I obviously don't go over and say hi because I'm like, well,
This is
I'm
gonna be
drunk.
trouble.
I'm very drunk. I can't go talk to my
You
dad
don't want to
right
get
now.
caught up in that storm.
I'm in grade 10. I can't go there. So I go home and I sleep at my friend's house that night, and it's great. And in the morning I come home and I was like, "Hey, Mom," and she's like, "Did you know he was drinking last night?"
Oh, no.
You know when your parents take on that like fake voice to like, "Hello, Mark."
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, they know something.
They know. What do they know?
They're like, "Did you know whose house was he at?" And I knew whose house he was at,
Of course.
and I wasn't gonna say it.
Uh-uh.
It's the Helts, but
You can say it now.
it was the rich people in Dundas,
That's
but
right.
whose parents were not home. But I could not possibly say. It's
Right.
like, well, my mom's like, "Well, I don't want to start calling the other mothers because I'm not crazy like the other mothers." But then you know what happened? One of the other crazy Dundas moms, because crazy Dundas moms do this,
Right.
her son came home from formal drunk, and she was like, "Have you been drinking?" So she called every mom.
So she already knew.
Every mom at St. Mary's got a call. "Did you know the boys were drinking last night?"
Wow. Great. So that's how it goes, eh?
I got a week off school.
So he gets suspended.
0 repercussions.
He gets suspended. You know, we're playing in this tournament the next day.
Can't get popped by 60 the next morning by a really good team.
Right.
Sick.
We're supposed to play, at this point, we're playing, what's that school from? HBBL, right?
HB Beal.
HBBL. These boys are from London. Yeah, they're London. This is the time
They used to have these two
guys on the
brothers that
Beal
were.
was nasty.
They had two brothers that were gunners. They're twins, and they're both like 6'4", super athletic.
They're both going, like, one was going to University of Hawaii. This
Yeah,
guy's going
they
to
just
NCAA.
they could like they had crazy handles. They could yam and they could pull up from half court, and you're just like, okay, cool, we're fucked.
Keenan Jesperson, was that his team?
I think it was Keenan Jesperson and Jesper Keenanson,
Right.
twins.
They're the twins.
Everyone knows them.
They're just backwards.
Yeah.
They're just mirror images of each other. No, but we're supposed to play this unbelievable squad, and of
Everybody's hungover.
course,
First of all,
well, number one,
it reeks of liquor.
we knew this was going to happen. It's
Change
not
room reeks of liquor.
Probably not the first time we've done this, right? Anyway, like got drunk before a game, maybe not. But anyway, we knew it was the next day. We're going to be okay. Whatever. We're in high school. We can
We're
bounce
young.
back.
We bounce back.
We can bounce back.
Except you didn't factor in when you start running, you start sweating, and when you start sweating, you reek of liquor.
I never even thought of that till now. That change room must have fucking ranked.
I
'Cause
just, I
let's say-
remember
So there was 15 guys on the team. 15 guys. Now minus Andrew Mallon.
who showed up that morning to tell the coach he got suspended.
Yeah. So he had
And
to
the
tell our
locker
coach.
room, my mother said, already like she said the whole gym reeked like booze.
Oh my god. Anyway, I feel so
A
bad. now.
basketball gym reeked of booze from one team.
Our gym has
sweating
the
out
highest, our gym
liquor.
has the highest ceiling in Ontario.
It's got a 95-foot ceiling. It's like
crazy.
a
Like you can throw the ball as hard as you can. It's hard to hit the ceiling.
15 stories.
Same areas. Don't know why they did that, but it's like
I think it's-
ridiculously high.
So you don't hit the ceiling with your jumpers.
Yeah.
I have a high arc.
Because you just sky bomb
Well,
it all
you
day.
do.
Yeah. of
Tall
course.
guy shoots high.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just shoot straight at you.
Man, mine's a line drive.
Just like down.
I've never taken a shot that didn't hit the front of the rim.
Don't worry, more rebounds for me. Anyway, so Andrew Mallon has to go and tell our coach, and obviously our coach immediately is like,
Pissed.
all right.
He goes,
everyone else is drinking.
All of them were drinking last
He
night.
comes in and he goes, all right.
Shocking he didn't know already.
Well, The thing is, I'm sure he fucking knew.
Probably
It's
just
just
thought it was-
now the fact that Andrew got busted. It's
the
on
good
paper.
kid, the only honor roll student on the team at the time.
Seriously, on a roll.
15 players, and one of them has an 80
heading to
average.
Waterloo, like going hard, and our coach comes in and he just goes, "All right, who was drinking?" He just asks us all straight up, and we're all just like, "Fuck!" We all put up our
One guy
we kinda
probably
looked
sits
around.
there
We're like,
going,
"Who's it gonna be?"
One guy probably sitting there going, "I wasn't drinking." Reeks of liquor.
Oh, yeah.
Literally still sipping a Mickey.
Just still fucking. No, we were actually, from what I remember, we were all like really honest and like I said, there's 15 guys on the team minus Andrew, so there's 14 guys in the change room.
Oh, I remember what happened.
10 guys put up their hand.
So there's 5 guys that weren't drinking, and it was like one dude didn't drink. For
No, there was
religious-
only 4 guys because Andrew was the 15th. So there was only 4 guys that didn't drink.
And
No,
there's 5.
that's a lie.
There's
There was
5.
5 guys that didn't
5
drink.
guys that didn't drink.
And only one of them was like a starter. Not even a starter. I think Faisal was coming off the
Faisal
bench.
was the only one,
Faisal was the only one, our buddy. 'cause
and he's like the
Muslim.
8th guy.
He doesn't drink, and he's like
And
a
the
good
other
player, but
4,
the
other 4 just didn't go to formal.
yeah,
And that's the only
why
reason they didn't drink. And like, there's slugs at the end of the bench.
That just showed up and were like great guys, but like
They played
weren't
the
basketball
entire
players,
game, got
and, like,
bonked by 70.
So
Like,
one,
just
and then
destroyed.
one guy goes down with leg cramps because he's never played before. He goes down with double leg cramps.
Never had water before.
Patrick Pasqua goes down with double leg cramps like this. And now we have 4 guys who can play. So our coach literally just said, you get 2 minutes a quarter, and just like ran people through. As soon as the 2 minutes were out, you came off for the rest of the game. It was so embarrassing. We
And
got
started at the back of the
fucked
bench.
by HB Beal.
Like
it
these
was
are
just
guys that
embarrassment.
had never had their name on a score sheet.
Yeah.
Like just like, ooh, there's only 12 slots. We have to choose which 12 actually get their name on the sheet.
Yeah.
And
Like some
3
guys were basically managers.
And 3 of them. Ooh.
Hey.
Finest moments in Bears basketball history.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
Those
that
don't
was
happen too much. Now it's all about, like, this is a big thing with men's league now, is you got to keep your team sober before the game.
Or like hope they didn't come back from the cottage
Because they're
like, if
all
it's a
summer games.
Sunday.
Man, we had a soccer game, men's league soccer game on Canada Day one year.
Come on.
First of all, we had 4 guys come. We only had 11 show up, which
Yeah.
was what you need.
Okay.
4 of them were not on our team.
Where was that? Like Mohawk?
It was at Cayuga.
Cayuga. Sounds like one of those old car
No, this
horns.
was like 2 years ago. We played. We
Cayuga.
played like the men's. So it's like already a 45-minute drive on Canada Day. But to play a
Fuck,
bunch of
man.
farmers in the middle of nowhere at 9
Sure,
o'clock
sure,
at night.
sure. Go by the res and get some tobacco though.
I got gas
Get
while I was
some,
there.
get some fucking what were those?
Man, I paid like
Those
90.
Don Carbones?
No, putters. Putters, hand rolled, selling by the Ziploc bag.
Butters. I thought it was the Don Carbones.
You get a stick and a twig and everyone.
Woo-wee. Little
But
bone
we
in
had
there.
to
Might be
call
human
in
finger,
guys,
might be
and
chicken.
even still, of the 11, 3 showed up, and they're like, "Yeah, I've had like 6 beers today."
Woo.
Like,
We're ready to play.
we're like, "Who scheduled this game?"
Time to kick a ball.
And it would
around.
happen with like men's league basketball too.
Right,
It's just
right.
like guys would be like, "Yeah, our game is at 9 o'clock tonight. Like it's Wednesday. It was warm out. A buddy dropped by. I had 3 beers in the garage." And you're like, "You
gy-
can't run sober."
The gym is unair conditioned. You're just like
Ooh, I got a cramp. Wonder why? I think
Yeah.
it's the 14 Miller Lights you had on the way over.
just makes me wonder. Like when G used to get us to play Haba, like those are the guys we were playing against.
yeah, and that's why we
Grown-ass
would
men.
win a couple games because we were not drunk.
When we were in high school, like our coach would, there was this. Does Haba still exist?
Yeah, it's just that's
Hamilton-
what we play in, you goof.
No, I know, but now does it still exist?
we played-
after all of this.
we played in
COVID?
it 2 years
No,
ago.
I know. But like
Well,
after
I don't
COVID,
know if
like
Larry
I mean,
and Motz are
literally
gonna run
today,
it back. Shout out
Right.
Larry and Motzi.
the boys. No, I remember it was like recently live, but hopefully it still exists. It's called the Hamilton Amateur Basketball
We'll
Association.
talk about that next.
We'll get that going.
about what's going on. Disaster.
Next
What's
time.
been happening in men's league basketball?
But yeah, so our coach used to get us to play in this men's league, and like we'd start up a team, and it would be like all the like some upcoming kids, like maybe they're even playing junior. We just want
Man,
to see
not
how they're
even.
doing.
We just sucked. We were literally just, he didn't, I feel like he couldn't get guys to play with him. So he's like, I'm just going to play with my boys.
So true. That's good. I would do that too, probably.
Yeah, no, I would. We were already talking about it this year. We were like, ooh, maybe we cut a couple guys and grab some of our old players. Because our men's league has become ridiculous. It is no longer a men's league. It is a summer league for OUA players that come and back scratch on me.
Damn. No.
Dude, we got run off the court every game the last year we played. Like, it was a disaster because one team started doing it like 4 years ago.
Right.
It was like Vic Razzo had just
right.
finished school.
Just came back from Carleton, won a national
So
championship.
he invited some of the guys that are like that were playing at Mac and like playing at
Ottawa
Carleton.
guys.
He's like, come run with our team. So that team won every game by like 50
Johnny
points.
Obervac and shit.
They won every game by 50 points that summer.
Right.
So then the next year, other teams started recruiting like OUA guys to come play with them. So we're one of like 3 teams of the 10 that is still like men, like grown men that are washed up.
Right.
It's like us. There's the guys that went to Ancaster High.
Right. Okay.
And then that Croatian team.
Classic. Always.
And everybody else, you know, like the thing when a guy's so athletic
Yeah.
that when he plays basketball, when he's dribbling up the court, he does that hop step where he floats through the air for like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, something bad's about to happen.
Oh, no.
It's the whole league.
Shit.
I tried to take a charge, and a guy put his nuts in my face
Oh, no.
because he jumped over me, and I was like, oh.
Oh, no.
And the sad part is, I am easily, without a doubt, the best in shape person on our team,
Of course.
hands down.
Oh,
Like
no.
hands down, not even close.
Right. But that's
Probably
how it's supposed to be like that.
Probably tied with Christian for most athletic.
There you go.
And that's where we're at. And Christian's like sounds like he had a dart between trips up and down the court sometimes because he's just like, oh, I don't run.
Oh, no.
You're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is different.
Yeah. Man, it's like basketball is one of those things where you end up, you're actually running like a lot. Right? You're not even just like.
I am an active person. I run, I bike, I swim, I do triathlons.
Right.
I have learned that the muscles you use for distance sports are not at all the same things you use for soccer or basketball.
So true.
Because I feel like I am having a massive coronary heart attack every single time I step on the basketball court or soccer field.
Yeah, that sounds like trouble.
Can go throw down a sick 20-minute 5K. Ooh, you have to run 100 meters in 15 seconds. I'm like, I'm gonna barf.
I'm done.
I'm barfing everywhere. You need to change. Hey, you need to change directions at a 45-degree angle. What do you mean? Haven't done that in years.
I'm good at going straight.
I can change slightly. About the
there's a
turn of a
turn.
track
Right. Yeah.
is about what I need to turn around.
I'm good at like a gentle 45-degree curve and then go straight. And then a little one and then straight.
Yeah.
And then but only left turns.
Ooh, yeah. Actually, that's the thing is that
I'm not an ambi turner.
So my regular like running route is all right turns,
No way.
and my knees kill when I turn right.
Bro, what are you doing?
Falling apart.
Go the
my
other way.
body's broken. No, but it's like run against traffic or run with traffic. I'd rather run against it and see cars coming.
Right.
So that's the whole idea
Oh
behind
yeah.
it.
That's safe.
So then if I run the
Wait,
other
like on
way,
Lawrence? Do you run on Lawrence?
yeah, I actually start like at my house. I go down around the stadium and then up Gage,
Right.
run through Gage Park,
Okay.
and then hit
At
Lawrence
night, right?
down. Yes, only
Man, did you
exclusively.
See they set up a speed camera on Lawrence and someone fucking kicked it over?
No way.
Yeah, it like lasted 3 days.
That's hilarious.
I love how they're like you can literally just push it over.
Oh yeah, it's not even like it's just like a clearly a temporary box that they put there just to try. So obviously someone's gonna be like, for sure.
Guy just goes puts a photocopy of his ass on it, walks
Just, like,
away.
on the front.
Yeah.
Every time it takes a picture, it's just a
You were
butt.
speeding. No, it's my ass.
How can you tell?
Well, they did them in Toronto. They're successful. Like it's a good program.
And they have them in Australia. Like people just don't speed.
Lawrence on that road though is like a drag strip.
Oh, because there's like nowhere for cops to be.
And also to
You can
turn
just
up onto
rip.
it, you are at the same angle that NASA launches rockets. Because for some reason they put a 42% cliff at the end of every street that feeds onto it. So if you want to turn on, if you're in a standard, you're literally just taking it blind. You're sitting at the bottom going, I don't hear anything. Getting wrecked.
Like this street, literally, there's like what, like 6 cross streets, like
Oh, the whole way
at
down.
least,
Yeah.
like Edgemont, London, all those streets. They come up to this Lawrence Street we're talking about. Like, you know, you're going like up, like kind of towards the escarpment. But for whatever reason,
The whole
Lawrence-
street has been flat.
Yeah, and
the
it's
whole
like
way
it's a gentle incline, but right before you get to the street, it literally goes up almost like 45 degree. So when you're coming off the street, you're literally like trying to look, and you launch.
But your car's also rolling back, and then when you hit the gas pedal, it doesn't go anywhere because your tires are spinning. You bottom out if you're in a sedan or smaller.
'Cause that's how fucking some of the streets, especially, are that they're like
It's a T.
an angle.
Yeah, it's a T.
And like when you're coming off Lawrence and you're going 60, and then you're like coming into a turn, and you literally just go like I'm surprised people don't like roll their cars.
Probably do.
Probably have in the past. but-
Speaking of rolling cars, huge F1 guy as of the last week when I
Okay.
started watching the F1 show.
Okay.
Watch Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Okay.
Literally started it last Wednesday. Finished it on Monday this week. Gonna have all my new gear coming in for the Monaco Grand Prix this
Oh, you
weekend.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're gonna go to Monaco, and I'm gonna try the Toronto one first.
No, that's IndyCar. I want F1
Oh,
only.
you want F1?
F1 only.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm lavish. The
all
show's as much about car racing as it is about sunglasses.
Those things rip. It's mostly about sunglasses.
Man, if you watch the show, I highly recommend it because it's very entertaining.
Okay.
It is
like
about
Top Gear?
it's about sunglasses. No, it's about sunglasses. It's just like these cars are sick. These guys were sick shades.
Right.
All of them because how rich and cool they are. Like they're probably a 4, minimum 7s though.
There you go.
And I'm just like, damn. Daniel Ricciardo, my boy.
Okay.
I'm all in.
Wow.
He's just
Interesting.
Aussie.
I've never really ever gotten to the world of like racing.
Neither had I at all.
Interesting.
I had never watched a race in my entire life. Still haven't.
What is
Here's
it-
the thing.
what
I'm
do
a huge F1 guy. Never watched a race to this day.
What's so like other than the show? Like, what is it that's captivating?
The money.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, it's the lifestyle. It's
just
so
make
cool.
bank?
Well, they also just
they're just on yachts
like
with their
Lewis
sunglasses?
Hamilton is like the best, and he is he's the highest paid athlete, salary only on planet Earth. He makes $55 million a year, just salary,
Jesus,
not counting his
sponsors and
endorsements
stuff.
or anything.
55 million.
Yeah, so like the average salary is probably like 10 mil a year.
Right. In F1.
Like the top guys make like 20 plus, and like the bottom guys make like $1 million.
Great.
But the cars themselves are like $150 million cars.
Right. They're like jets.
And they go so fast. Like they take a hairpin corner at like 160.
can.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But like legit a 180 turn, and they're slowing down to 160, and they smoke out of it.
Right.
And like it's really cool. I've gotten into bike racing in the past year too, like
Sure.
bicycles.
Cool.
And the strategy behind like these Europeans get sports. It's really cool. It's like I was talking this about another buddy the other day, is that North American sports is very much championship or bust. If you don't win a championship, no one gives a shit about you. They don't care. That is the only goal, is to win championships.
Yeah.
The nice thing about European sports, it's like you love your team, and you just like, because there's like no salary caps and stuff like that, you just go, yeah, 5th place is a dream.
Sure.
Like the EPL not getting relegated, people shotgunning beers. We got 17th.
Yeah. For
We
sure.
made it.
Yeah.
And then F1, same thing for like the midfield teams, as they're called, midfield.
Right.
Like a 5th place finish, they're through the roof
Wow.
because the
Yeah.
top teams are just.
And this appreciation too for the sport, I
Yeah.
think, like you said, and I feel like again we don't see that as much in North America, and it's more
Here it's all about money. And I think that's why, like, did you see like Super League fell through with like the biggest teams in soccer in Europe tried to make their own league to say screw you to UEFA, we're the moneymakers.
right.
And it was driven by the mainly like American owners of of English and Italian
Sure.
and Spanish teams.
Because there's lots now, right?
Because all they care, because the idea of, wait, I cannot be in the best league every year? Why? I want to be in Champions League. Why can't I just be in? I'm the best. And they're like, no, you have to earn it. And they're like, no. And then they're like, oh, you can also go down into this crappy league. Like, you can get relegated. And they're like, no, I don't like that. I want to be in the best league all the time, and I want to play in that league, and you want to give me a spot, and we're going to make all the money.
But there's
And
something,
it doesn't work, though.
But there's something too, like, for some of those like lower tier teams or whatever, like that they get to play against these crazy good teams, and then that's a big event, and that's always been the case.
Those like save some teams financially in a year.
Sure.
Like one game, like especially in Champions League, like if you get lucky and you get like, you're gonna get rocked. But say you won the Turkish league or the Danish league.
Okay.
So you're in Champions League.
Right.
And you suck. You have no chance of winning any games. But you get one home match against Manchester United, against Juventus,
Right.
and whoever else. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Those are sellouts that you can charge quadruple ticket prices for.
100%.
And like there will be parties in town, like everything for the whole week leading up to the game.
Right.
Just to see you get pumped 6-0 by this great team. And they're through the roof. They get scored on. They're like, we got scored on by United.
Everyone's cheering.
We only lost by 7.
I don't know if Elton John still owns, but he owned a soccer team in England somewhere too, and it's just like they weren't gonna win anything, but just like
Ryan
the fact
Reynolds
that Elton John owned a thing.
just bought part of a team.
Well, I was gonna say that's like
Wrexham.
a lot of these there's a lot more American owners now, right?
It was Ryan Reynolds and someone else, another celebrity, bought part of Wrexham FC or Wrexham United or something like that.
Was that like one of those where it was like it was gonna fold and stuff, and they probably heard about
Essentially,
it?
like a lot of like the lower tier teams are like folding because they don't have TV deals that make a lot of money. So their only thing was they had a shitty small stadium of like only holds 6,000 people, but they sold out 38 games a year.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's how we stay afloat.
Right.
And we have a good youth academy, and we sell those players to the next league up for some money, and this is how we run. And without that, you have no money.
But that's this whole grassroots thing too, right? It's like I feel the more and more, even the way we're like specializing more and more here in North America, like I think we're getting away. Like even I was gonna say this earlier, like yeah, maybe you and I didn't want to go and play basketball like at the next level, but like that should not discourage us from like still playing the sport, right? And it's
Exactly.
It's sad that now it's discouraging.
Yeah. The other thing I hate is the like you can only play one sport. No, play every sport. Look at all these guys that have made it as pro athletes. Like Russell Wilson was an NFL quarterback and had a shortstop contract in the major leagues.
100%.
They just had Kyler Murray, same thing. Had to choose between being the number 1 draft pick in baseball and the number 1 draft pick in football.
Yeah, my buddy.
Like,
Why do you have
to choose?
His brother, he went to Rice, and he played for the Seahawks when they won, and then
Luke Wilson,
and then he could have went to I think the Blue Jays were offering him something, as a first baseman or something. But
well, the other one is like Austin Hooper, like the tight end. Tony Gonzalez played.
Bo Jackson, obviously.
Yeah.
Like you can go back.
Like
further,
these guys
and it's more common. Like even Gretzky was like, when I was done playing hockey, I played baseball in the summer, or I played this and that. Like it wasn't just like this is only what you're gonna do.
Tight end for the Colts this year, Mo Alley Cox, had never played football ever, and played 4 years as center. Yeah. As like a 6'6" center at VCU, as a rim running center. He's on the team that beat Duke, RIP. And go Dukies.
Yeah, Dookie.
And he's now an NFL tight end.
Dickie V.
Because they just go, this guy is huge,
right?
Insanely athletic.
Yeah. Well, who's that guy who played for the Saints? That one tight end. He used to play. He went to like University of Arizona for basketball, and then went to the Saints to play football.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pro Bowl tight end.
And he didn't play university football. And he's fucking...
Here we are.
Right.
Yeah, I could... You know what? I always think about this as like, what sport was my untapped potential in?
Right.
Could I have
Has anyone ever told you, like, anything that
No.
makes you think. I had a doctor tell me I should have played baseball because my shoulders are like really loose.
Maybe I
But
have
I've
a wicked
never
arm.
played baseball in my life. So
I
can't
can't.
even
I
say.
have pretty bad hand-eye coordination with like stick and racket sport.
Right. I never did.
I'm
any of
good
that
with
stuff.
the hands and the feet.
Sure.
But as soon as you have to make me control something,
It's trouble.
it goes downhill.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hit a
never did
lot.
any
I
stick or
blow my
racket.
shoulder out a lot golfing when I miss the ball entirely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it happens quite regularly.
You should listen to my last podcast on golf.
Oh boy. I'm a big fan of missing the ball 3 times, picking it up, throwing it underhand, and going, "Oh yeah, look at that."
That's clean.
Golf to me is an excuse to drink outside for 4 hours and not be called an alcoholic.
I think I can't remember who. I think it was like Tolkien or someone said.
Mark Twain. Golf.
Twain.
Golf is a good walk spoiled.
Yeah, it's a great way to spoil a good walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because like you can get so frustrated with it, and it's just one of those games where the smallest little adjustments make the biggest difference. And like growing up in certain sports where, you know, there's more than one ways to get the ball into the basket, like, you know, it doesn't really matter so much. It's a little bit easier. But like, again, any sport, like I mentioned this in the podcast, a sport is basically you're taking a really simple action and making it hard.
Yeah.
So basketball, all you have to do is put this basket in this rim.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Hey, guess what? The rim is twice the size of the ball too. Awesome. But guess what? We're going to put the ball 10 feet in the air.
Ooh.
We're going to put 4 other guys on your team and 5 other guys on the other team.
And they
they're
don't
gonna,
want you to
and
put
they
the
don't
ball
want
in
you to
there.
put, right? So, but all you have to do is put the ball in the basket. Same with golf. All you have to do is just put this ball in the hole. And I think Robin
Ooh,
Williams
by
has
the
this
way,
big,
it's 400.
but we're gonna put the hole way further away, and then there's gonna be grass, and then there's gonna be trees. We're gonna put a pond.
we're gonna
and
put pond right in
some
front of the hole.
sand, right? So, and then also now you have to hit it with this stick with a little head on the end that's only about twice the size of the ball, right? Like,
And it
so
does not go straight.
It's just it's like borderline sadistic in like how difficult it truly is.
Yeah, I was thinking about like what would happen if I had just focused on one sport my entire life. Like if running was like probably like if I wanted like if I had to say like what was probably my best, it would probably be like straight up like running, like distance running.
Sure.
And if I had gone all in and just trained 7 days a week around running on a track faster,
Sure.
what would be my peak?
Right. Well, I think
Could I have ever ran a 4-minute mile?
I think if they're going to treat the human body like a athletic machine, this specialization is the best way to get a superior athlete. But you have to be so lucky that you also love the sport.
You also got to be born with it. Like, if your VO2 max peak is a certain level,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's only getting so high.
Some people have more fast twitch fiber than not. Some people have slow twitch. Like, some people are physiologically made for certain sports. There's no doubt.
There's a Canadian cyclist, Mike Woods, who's the only person on earth who has ever ran a sub 4-minute mile and finished the Tour de France. He started professional cycling at like 29, and now he's 32. He's on a world tour team. He's won stages in like the Vuelta, which is one of the 3 giant like grand tours.
Wow.
And he was a Canadian Olympian in track and field
Amazing.
in the mile.
Right.
Would run a mile in under 4 minutes. One of the handful of people on earth that can do that consistently, right?
That's amazing.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, so I like started biking and just like I have this insane VO2 max and
Pretty
aerobic capacity that I'm now a world-class cyclist that can win races."
Yeah. Sure.
Most professional cyclists never win any race.
Yeah.
Because it's insane. It's 200 people. You ride 200 kilometers and you have to be the first one across the finish line.
That is amazing, man. Yeah, again, you know, some athletes are just general all-around athletes, and then some people are really meant to play the sport that they play. And some, like I've played with guys certain sports, like they can't do anything else if they really wanted. Like, you know what I mean? They're just not they're so specialized to that one sport, or again, they're just physiologically built. But again, like going back to being so specialized, like if I grew up only playing one sport, number one, I'd feel limited because I know some of my skill is because of other sports. But I feel like I would have got tired of it. Like it's just been like, especially as a kid, that's all you do every day, all year.
Those who can't do, teach. Those who can't teach, teach Jim.
Just joshing. Unreal. But yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, you can spread these kids out, let them play different sports. And that's probably the best way, because then they might find out what they like the best.
Yeah,
But-
and then let them choose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The children will lead the way.
They're the only one who can see I'm naked.
That's right.
Emperor's New Clothes. Everyone
Yes,
knows.
exactly.
That wasn't a weird thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, what a perfect place to end the podcast.
There we go. Time to get naked.
That's it, folks. Hey, I wish we could talk more, but we'll do this again soon. We only have so much time on the old camera here, but
Can I shamelessly plug?
yeah, please. I was just gonna say, anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out on Instagram at T&S Social Curation. Every Friday, drop a fire playlist on Spotify. It's called That Friday Feeling. Mondays, we drop the 5 new songs you need to hear that week. It's called Central Tracks. That's
awesome.
At T&S Social Curation on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. And yeah, new
Check it
playlist dropping. It'll come out Friday this week.
Yes, awesome. That's great. And next week and the week after,
Every Friday.
unreal,
Woo!
unreal. Check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. And you know, if you like what you hear, remember, rate the podcast, support us on our Patreon, patreon.com/bigmarkpod. We'll get into everything next time. Great to see you, brother. We'll
Good
see
to
you
see you
soon.
too. Thanks for having me.
Peace.